talking to two others, and a several hundred millionaire.
And I fundamentally believe that much of the unrest, the civil unrest, and ultimately this divide in this country is driven by the fact that de-dollarization, because of excess government spending, ultimately leads a majority of people in this country to feeling oppressed and left behind because they're seeing a few people in the country accelerate their net worth, like all of us here, and there's no way for them to catch up because they don't actually own assets. So I'll be honest with you guys and make a confession. I was at the gym this morning on the treadmill.
You were at the gym?
Yeah. And while I was there, I was actually thinking about the wealth tax stuff that's going on in California. And I wonder if it may be an inevitability in order to keep the United States from going into civil war. I mean that very wholeheartedly. Like, I just don't know if there's a way of solving this fiscal problem without a functional redistribution of wealth.
What?
And the question is, can you do it violently or non-violently? And if there's a non-violent path, I think that's probably the preferable path.
Sound the alarms. They're becoming sentient. They're developing consciousness.
Hello and welcome. I think I'm probably pretty loud right now, right? Like, you guys can fucking hear me, right? Yeah? You can fucking hear me, I think. Believe that's the case. What do we got? You were at the gym? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't. No. Who do you think I am? Some kind of healthy guy? What are you talking about? What's up, y'all? So this is kind of a weird one. You know, it's unique in terms of the canonical history of the actual context / forced adversity / actual fandom / forced adversity podcast / showcast / all the names of things. Like, this is still kind of out of the all of those wheelhouses. Wheelhouse? Does a wheelhouse hold many wheels? Would it just be one wheelhouse holding many wheels, or does each wheel get its own house? I don't even know what that means. Okay, so yeah, it seems like one of the billionaires kind of accidentally stumbled upon the thing we've been screaming loudly for years now. Like, wow, man, you figured it out. So maybe we're gonna have to do some actually, like, not hoard all the money like we've been doing. Maybe this is what we got to do to fix things. Which you will see whenever we get the first episode of the podcast, the On Your Left podcast out, which again was about superhero billionaires. We did discuss the very real probability of what happens on a long enough timeline when wealth is funneled to the top, and increasingly fewer doll hairs are funneled to the vast majority of the public. Eventually something breaks. See the French Revolution, just as an example. See the Russian Revolution against the Tsars, right? No, that was one of them, I think. Anyway, sounds like he actually goes outside and sees regular people. I know, right? He's a billionaire who's like, that's why they were like, you were at the gym? You left your home? Like, what do you mean your servant left your home, right? No, you? Weird. All right. So yeah, like I was trying to say, this is a different topic. And I kind of stumbled upon this with the show called Euphoria on HBO. I check in on various things that you might be surprised about here and there. Shows, comics, whatever it is that, like, I'm not really into that necessarily, but I want to see some, find out some stuff about it. And then I did that with Euphoria, and the more I looked at it, the more I looked into it, the more I heard about it, the more I found out, the more fucked up it became. And this is the rare occasion whenever I am going to have some problems with the things that are depicted in the show. Now, of course, context is everything. I would almost never be like, oh, that's offensive to me, so it's against my my morals or whatever, what they're showing, so I don't think it should exist. I don't like that people do that, even if it is something that goes against my morality or whatever the fuck. Or they're, in many cases, as long as I don't feel like it leads to, or as long as I know that it doesn't lead to actual harm somehow, I'm just like, look, that's fucking stupid and gross or whatever. I don't care that to watch it, but it's whatever. I'm not a moral panicker, right, about these kind of things. However, Euphoria has a lot of context behind the scenes, and with the creator the stars, and so on and so forth, that make the things that are happening on the screen of the show uh, take on a different tone. Um, so let's see. Has anybody watched the show Euphoria before? As far as has been said so far, no. As far as no, there's no official abuse, kind of claims or anything. Morgan, are you wanting to get on tonight, or are you staying backstage? What do you want to do? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. All right. So yeah, no. As far as I know, there's no official, complaints about anything. However, there are several instances of the writer creator, Sam Levinson, son of director Barry Levinson, who I believe directed like the first Men in Black. I think, is that right? So it's a nepo guy. The problem number one, right there, just right out of the gate, it's a nepo guy. But there's even more problems before you even get to the show airing its first episode. The background of the creation of this show is fucked up and messed up, and it screws over. Look, it screws over a woman, and it screws over a woman who's young, and that won't. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. There's going to be a theme with that in this show. We'll get to it, but yeah. So there's been several instances of him. They will have written the script, and the script, obviously, there, if you've seen anything about it or whatever, there's lots of sexist stuff and whatever. Thankfully, this third season apparently has skipped forward 5 years, so they're no longer high school students. Which, thank God for small favors. And we can get into that too. We will get into that. Who the fuck was that show for when it was for high schoolers? And they actually had to come out during the first season and say, this show's not for kids, because kids were watching it. And they were like, this is not a kids show. You should be. And it's like, okay, so you want adults watching this show about, actors that are of age, but they're portraying high school kids that are having sex and stuff. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? None of it is like inherent. Like, I mean, I guess it is kind of inherently creepy and weird, but like, it's not illegal. It's just like, what the fuck is the purpose? Anyway, so there's been instances of them having, for instance, Sydney Sweeney seems to be the only one that's pretty okay with this, but other actresses in the show have expressed that whenever it comes time to film a scene that they have already rehearsed, they know what to expect and stuff. But it comes time to film that scene on set, Sam Levinson, creator, main showrunner, basically he's the guy behind it. He wants to try something, a little bit different. So he wants to try with, maybe less clothes, for these girls, women, and it's like dropping that on them in the last minute, like on the set. There's an inherent pressure to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's happened several times. Then there's let's just say this, the guys, I promise you, at some point in the future, Sam Levinson will have some accusations made. I just don't see how it's possible that it doesn't happen. He is clearly a misogynist who's kind of in some ways maybe working out his misogyny, but also just kind of catering to his fucking weird fetishes and shit like that by making this show. And it seems to have only gotten worse. So yeah. Cool. Right. So yeah, let me pull up the thumbnail that I made for this thing, just so you can see a couple of things here that are from this season. So right here, the image on the far right hand corner, bottom corner, and the image on the left are both from the season. On the right there, that's Sydney Sweeney, as you probably tell, and she is dressed like a dog, and this is her arc as an OnlyFans model, which is not inherently a bad thing to depict or anything, but she is apparently deciding to cater to any and everybody's weird, random fetishes. It's like, okay, dog, that's I can see comedy value in that, right? Performing a dog for somebody, like watching that as a show, I don't think that's necessarily inherently fucking like, oh, gross, whoa. Like, obviously it is gross that somebody would have that fetish, but as a piece of, comedy, a set piece in a show, it's like, that's pretty funny. Somebody, laughing at somebody being a weirdo like that. But it takes it a step further, and she actually performs a baby fetish where she dresses like a baby. And there, and there's you can go find tweets and stuff where people have watched the show since the beginning, and they're just like, I stopped watching right then. Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. It seems to be going out of its way to alienate its fans. It seems to be going out of its way to alienate everybody except Sydney Sweeney. I guess she seems to be like, oh yeah, it's great, I love it. She's deciding to just play ball with pretty much everything. Whereas Zendaya seems to be very unhappy. I don't know if there's anything official about this, but everything that I've seen is that she very much seems like she's ready to be done with this shit. This is supposedly the last season. It was 5 years between the second season and the third season, like 5 literal years, and then they also did like a 4 or 5 year time jump in the show. Um, I I know of a couple of the reasons why it took so long to get this season out, but like that's crazy. Took that long. And I can see that because originally Zendaya and Sam Levinson were very much creative partners in this thing, and they both had, she trusted his vision and stuff, and she was down to do it. Um, and I can see the value of some of it that I watched when it was first airing, because I did watch a few episodes. The reason that I stopped watching it were, kind of personal reasons, in that it was triggering some things that I didn't really like. I wasn't going to enjoy the show, and because they were depicting some things a little too, you know, accurately for me. So, you know, I know some people doesn't bother them, whatever. It's just not my thing. Especially being mostly girl characters, and being like current fucking Deus characters, so like dealing with current day high school problems and stuff like that as girls. I just didn't connect with it in that level where I was like gonna find a lot of value in it. So yeah, but I did recognize that it was a well-made show, and this is by all accounts, even people that are just tired of it and think it's disgusting now. It is very beautifully crafted show as far as the way it's shot, the directing, the music. Apparently, that's another thing that's become an issue, is the music that was created for the first couple of seasons. But yeah, so on that level, it seems like Sam Levinson's just kind of skating by on that because he's so like, oh, he's got this vision, creative vision. It's beautiful. His way he shoots things and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all. He's definitely not the only guy that can do that in a compelling way. There's definitely some out there. In fact, the original creator of the show's premise, which is not him. But yeah, so just like this is a whole rabbit hole, guys. Like, it's fucking crazy, and I just find it bizarre that this show is still going. And I'm guessing that HBO is just leaning into the shock value of this season. So yeah, going back to the thumbnail here, I wanted to point out that yeah, there's the dog thing on the right, over on the left where it says repulsive and criminal, right? It is bizarre, Harry. That's right. I was thinking about that as well. So that I think that's I forget the actress's name in that. But yeah, the actress in that image in the subplot in this third season, Zendaya and her are running drugs from back and forth or something across the Mexico-U.S. border. Fentanyl in particular. And there is a scene where they very specifically, Sam Levinson told them he wanted it to be as disgusting as possible, where they are trying to swallow balloons full of fentanyl to carry them in their stomachs across the border. And so they filmed it it's apparently, I haven't watched it. I've seen images and I've seen them describe it. And I've seen fans describing it. It is apparently so upsetting and gross to watch, the scene of them like trying to swallow balloons and then gagging and puking them up, right? That whenever they finally did finish shooting that scene, everybody on the set broke out like in applause because they were just so relieved to have it done. But what happens whenever you eat some balloons full of drugs? If hopefully they don't burst and kill you, that'll kill you. But eventually you got to get them out. So what happens in that right before this image in the thumbnail? She is using a strainer in a bathtub to uh, dispose of waste and to get the drugs out. Right? Pretty gross. When she gets up, there is visible shit on her thigh, dripping from her boxer shorts. Yep. But wait, there's more. A dog walks up and starts licking it. So that's the level of that's where we're at with the show. Like that's I mean, that is almost like cartoonishly edgelord fucking let's just see that'll be funny. We get away with this. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that was another thing. The issues with that show, The Idol, are pretty yeah. Apparently, The Idol is, in some cases, more of everything that's bad about this. Very misogynistic in its depictions, and look, the reason why an actress like Zendaya or I guess Sydney Sweeney or whatever actresses are in the show would sign on to something like this, knowing that it's going to depict, primarily women characters, female characters being exploited, abused, stuff like that. The reason to do a show like that, because there is a reason, is to have like a point to show that, like, hey, this is depicting something that really happens or depicting something like, what I'm saying? Like they can speak to something that is really exists in the world. Obviously really exists, but it's apparently from what I'm seeing as the show has gone on, it's gotten farther and farther from doing things with a point, and just kind of like finding excuses to do gross and shocking shit. So yeah, they made The Wire, man. They made The Wire. Yep, it's pretty yikes. So I figure we could look at a few things that have come out of the show. By the way, the there's been several characters in the show. I mean, basically all the characters are just like various form of drug addict, right? And that's another thing that is totally valid to depict with a purpose, right? But apparently they chose to hire several young actors that actually had drug issues in the past to play these characters, and I just feel like that's pretty fucking irresponsible. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as almost as if to prove the point, at least one of the actors has died from getting on. They were on the show. They were sober before did the show, and then they started having problems. I think his father passed away, and he got it back into drugs, and boom, you know. And that's not to say it's the show's fault. It's but it is to say that I know from experience that getting off of drugs, the best thing to do is to not be in an environment where you're really thinking about drugs for quite some time until you have some, mastery over your impulses, right? So just literally portraying a character that is an addict and doing drugs when you're trying to be sober, just seems like a recipe for fucking failure to me, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Check Levinson's hard drive. I'm promising you guys, there's gonna be something. I feel like Zendaya might. So she's definitely playing it cool because she's, professional. She doesn't want to ruin her fucking, her career by coming out and talking the shit that I can tell that she wants to talk. But basically, she is pushed away him. Definitely Sydney Sweeney. Her and Sydney Sweeney are apparently not cool. And she is doing like completely minimal press for this thing. She doesn't talk about it like, like she's very excited about it. She's only talking about it where like she seems contractually obligated to. Yeah. So I'm willing to bet that Zendaya and probably others will have some stuff to say once the show has ended. That seems to be the case. If not, I mean, that will probably happen as well as probably some broader stories, charges, so on and so forth, right? We'll see. Because yeah, he's a nepo baby who he was an actor apparently for a few years. Let's look at this guy too because he looks like he's constantly afraid. It's kind of bizarre. Let's see. I mean, apparently the show's doing really well even this season, you know? Even this season. So yeah, here's this story about the swallowing drugs incident that I was talking about. Doo, 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 doo. Euphoria scene so disgusting, whole crew clapped after filming ended. Euphoria fans are not quite as enthusiastic about the new season as the cast and crew appear to be. HBO Max's hugely popular drama series has released the premiere episode of the hotly anticipated third season, which sees the return of blah, 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 and all these people. Um, Among the high-profile cast is Chloe Cherry, who has now stepped onto a lead role. And so Chloe Cherry, by the way, literally was a performer in very much hardcore adult movies prior to this. So I mean, honestly, good for her. For it seems she made crossed over, and hopefully that works out. She's apparently a good actress. I've read, but she was very much doing some real porn prior to this. So yeah, she plays Faye, a 28-year-old heroin addict who strikes up friendship with Rue, played by Zendaya. Both characters battle with their sobriety. The new storyline: the pair are coerced in assisting their dealer in smuggling drugs. They're required to swallow small bags of white powder substance in order to transport them across the American border. And there's just a still shot right there, but it goes on for several minutes, and it is graphic, the whole swallowing and gagging and stuff. Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I'll be right back. Oh, all right. Yeah, so there's that. One example, just one. It's pretty mild, actually. Oh, thank you. Thank you, baby. But then there's like lists of all of the yeah, they're doing this to this entire of all people. You know, uh, I don't know anything about her. I don't. She seems like she's probably she wants to be a serious actress. That's pretty clear. My opinion, and I kind of gleaned this from reading about it on Reddit and stuff, that so she was apparently a Disney thing before anything else. I guess I knew that to some extent, but nonetheless, what I think happened is that she essentially signed on to this show as a way to, how Disney actors often will do that, where they're like, I'm ready to distance myself from my Disney image. And so this seemed like, the thing to do that with. And I think that, since the first season, and then there was literally 4 or 5 years between the last two, this season and the last one, she probably, she's had a lot of success. She's been in the Dune films. She's been in Spider-Man films. She's been in other films that I've heard of and have not seen. You know, good for her. But like, then you have to go back to this thing that you thought was a good idea when you were still trying to distance yourself from your Disney image. And you're like, well, okay, but I've already done that. I don't need to. I imagine that's pretty frustrating. She seems to be the only actress in the show that I guess it's in her contract, but she doesn't appear nude or anything like that. Then there's let's see, Jacob Elordi. I've heard his name a lot. I don't know what the fuck he's in, but apparently this show's made few people, stars. So good for that. Wonder how long before Sam Levinson ends up on Piers Morgan's with a Bible. Oh my god, dude, Sean, I watched that earlier when we should check that out. I know it's completely unrelated, but you brought it up and it's fucking hilarious. Where Russell Brand is basically challenged to find a Bible quote, a Bible verse by Piers Morgan that kind of that can prove that he's a real man of Jesus or whatever. He's not just grifting, because Piers Morgan straight up asks him, or mentions the fact that lots of people think you're a grifter. And then Russell Brand just he fucking stalls out. Like his charisma just fucking, evaporates instantly. And he's trying to fucking distract, and he's trying to do anything. And then he gets, they put a Bible in his hand, and he's literally going through it just page by page. They're just kind of like trying to be very, stoic and considered while he's looking for, one of his favorite verses, when you can tell what he's actually doing is just trying to find any verse that'll pop out that he can just say, yeah, this one, and it will seem legit. And it takes several minutes, several very thick with tension minutes of Piers Morgan just like staring at him while he's fucking flipping through the Bible. It's amazing. Yes, he mispronounced Isaac. Exactly. What do you say? Isaiah. That's what he said. He literally has a book on the way called How to Become a Christian in 7 Days. Jesus Christ. I mean, exactly right, but he's still turning pages. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'd say that, yes, objectively, a better move than, what was her name? Elizabeth something? Yeah, but I mean, these actresses can actually kind of act pretty well too, and she seems like she had some problems with that in Showgirls. Yeah, like, man, the I'm sure some of you saw that by watching the ebb and flow video, right? Those of you that know what we're talking about here. And as he pointed out in that, like, Russell Brand is just like one of the most transparent grifters. It's bizarre that anybody fucking believes him, but you know, uh, I literally saw a commercial one time. I think I showed it on stream when I saw it on YouTube, and it was like an ad that he did where he's fucking selling like a rock. It's just a rock, just straight up a fucking rock for like $500. And he's like talking about having some kind of, special properties or whatever. Just like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? This was before the rape allegations too. This like what he was doing is like just a regular move, uh, not like out of desperation, I would assume. Well, yeah, they believe him because, yeah, exactly, he affirms their biases, and he also says just his image, his everything about him is that, hey, even if you're a piece of shit, you don't really have to change anything. You just got to say, I'm a Christian now. You know, I'm a Christian now. And the way that he's going about excusing or defending himself with these pretty fucked up allegations that, I'm confident happened. But like there's a 16-year-old girl that he was with, and he goes about trying to say that basically he's saying that, if you think that that's bad, yes, I agree with you, it's bad because that's not what a Christian man should do, but age of consent was 16, and and I was 30 years old. So he's like trying to say that, it's not bad for like all the reasons that you might think it was bad. It's bad because Jesus would be really disappointed in me. uh okay, so trying to find the list of shenanigans the show has gotten up to. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, so let's talk about the music of the first couple of seasons, created by I think he's a British musician named Labyrinth. He goes by Labyrinth. Um, his name is actually Timothy McKenzie, a 37-year-old British singer, and he created the music, which, from what I understand, has been a big part of the identity of the show, as well as the kind of, the camera work, the vibes of it and stuff like that. Which that's another thing that is a topic. But yeah, so this is him. Labyrinth finally breaks silence on Euphoria controversy. He broke away from Euphoria ahead of season 3 after his music had become trademark of the show, and he finally revealed what reasons caused him to take the big measure and call the showrunners out on Instagram. Um, launched a scathing attack, blah, blah, blah. In an interview, he finally revealed what went down for him to make the decision. There were things getting sent through the grapevine that made me look like the crazy black guy that just decided to go AWOL, and I just went fucking crazy on everybody and decided I'm on some publicity stunt. My thought process was like, I need to make it clear that I'm out. This has got nothing to do with me getting pushed out or thrown out. I'm going. He told the outlet in the first season, nobody had an agent. Nobody had a manager. And then by the second season, there were more Winnebagos, more red Skittles separated from the rest of the bunch. Everybody's slowly turning into their own Louis Vuitton bag. You have more popularity, more people are saying your name, so you can now treat everyone like shit. The formula singer added that the family environment on set deteriorated, and he began to feel that like tensions were growing behind the scenes without any attempts at communication. I've made my attempts to communicate on that level. And when I feel that people are acting funny, I'm just like, nope, I can't do it. I just don't wish to speak in that language. That was the moment Labyrinth knew that he was out of the show. And that seems completely sensible to me. I'm the same way. Like when having a conversation with somebody and it becomes clear that they are not engaging on like an honest level or like a rational, or they've got some kind of weird agenda or something like that, or their lens is askew because they've got some kind of fucked up weird priority or something like that, then I'm just like, I'm done, dude. So there's that. It's literally top to bottom, seam to seam of this show. There's some kind of issue going on or have gone on. What else we got here? Oh, there's also, there's a study done that finds this is kind of disturbing, guys. Like, and it's not really related, but study done that finds Gen Z drinking fewer flagons of mead than medieval generations. What are we doing, guys? What are we even doing here? Are you okay? Are we okay out there? You know what I'm saying?
That's really a crime.
Right.
Can you believe that Gen Z is not drinking as much mead
as medieval generations? Wow. Yeah.
As medieval generations. Yeah, mead is delicious.
Mm-hmm. It is the superior alcohol.
It is my spouse's favorite alcohol.
Oh, nice. I've had some good mead at a wedding before. Mergen. It's Mergen.
It's Mergen. Yeah, apparently I'm Mergen now.
The Mergen.
It's Mergen time.
Wasn't that the villain from or whatever from the Highlander, the Mergen?
No, the Kurgan.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Close enough.
Kurgan.
The woke war on mead, yeah, for sure.
But for me, the woke war on mead is me drinking more mead.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like alcohol much.
I don't either, but like mead is delicious.
True. Did you see this that clip I showed at the beginning of The Billionaire that's like, guys, we might have to do some redistribution of wealth to make things better,
No, I did not.
It's pretty funny.
Billionaire talking to two others and a several hundred millionaire.
And I fundamentally believe that much of the unrest, the civil unrest, and ultimately this divide in this country is driven by the fact that de-dollarization, because of excess government spending, ultimately leads a majority of people in this country to feeling oppressed and left behind because they're seeing a few people in the country accelerate their net worth, like all of us here, and there's no way for them to catch up because they don't actually own assets. So I'll be honest with you guys and make a confession. I was at the gym this morning on the treadmill.
You were at the gym?
Yeah. And while I was there, I was actually thinking about the wealth tax stuff that's going on in California. And I
just want to point out that guy, that's definitely the guy who's the 100 millionaire.
Yeah.
He's not one of, because he was like, I'm going to make a joke and you guys are going to love it. And then you can see the look on the other guy's face. They're like,
yeah.
Yep. I don't know anything about him, but I make money. I put money on that bet.
I wonder if it may be an inevitability in order to keep the United States from going into civil war. I mean that very wholeheartedly. Like, I just don't know if there's a way of solving this fiscal problem without a functional redistribution of wealth.
What?
And the question is, can you do it violently or non-violently? And if there's a non-violent path, I think that's probably the preferable path.
Sound the alarms. They're becoming sentient. They're developing consciousness. Of class.
Well. It appears the billionaires and their half-as-rich friend have been taking a third-grade social studies class. See, he's been thinking about it real hard, he says, and he's arrived at the only logical conclusion, he says. Thank goodness he's got that big venture capitalist brain to put to it, because he's arrived at an ingenious conclusion. Apparently, there's going to have to be a redistribution of wealth. And if it doesn't happen the easy way, there's a very good chance it'll happen the hard way.
So yeah, there's that. We got one, or I guess there's maybe a couple of them that are ostensibly more understanding of this need, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing though,
Yeah.
right? Like,
yeah, I think so. I mean, it's better than anything that involves the show Euphoria on HBO.
that's a low bar based on the 6 seconds I've seen of this show today.
Yes, so that's another thing. Is Euphoria was originally, it's a show not called the Euphoria, but this is based on a show that was imported from Israel. However, that it gets worse. Like every single aspect of this is just like, God, this is why I had to talk about it. 'Cause I'm like, what the fuck? It's like it's cursed or something. So there was a woman who was responsible, who basically was, I think she was like developing this show with HBO originally, and
Okay.
she had very specific visual style aesthetic that she was bringing to the table, and HBO was really excited about it and stuff. And so like, she had images and videos and stuff she's done, and they were like gonna just basically go, you get to decide how this show looks and everything. Then eventually they just kind of called her and said, we're not gonna go with you because you're too young.
And they gave it to
Um,
this weird guy.
And then suddenly, then she starts seeing billboards for Euphoria. She didn't think they were going to do the show at all. And so
Right.
they're seeing Euphoria, and the visual of it is literally just her visual. Like it's very specific,
Right.
and yeah. So just in the very creation of this show, they're kind of exploited a young woman.
Wow. Wow. I hate it here.
Um,
Holy shit. What? I hate Hollywood.
it's really like, I mean, Hollywood's not in great circumstances lately because a lot of it they did it themselves, and then a lot of it is just COVID changed things and everything. So
Yeah.
but like I thought that we were not doing this kind of thing as much anymore. I thought this kind of thing, a high profile, this would not really be a thing. I don't know,
Right.
I was naive enough to think that, but where it's like, I'd argue that Me Too probably had more effect in Hollywood than anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so this kind of strikes me as, I don't know. Let me look up the Sam Levinson stuff. So I don't want to accuse the guy of anything. He might be innocent of all charges or something. He's not.
Sure, it's possible.
Some shit's gonna come up. Promise you. Maybe not right now. Maybe not
But
tomorrow.
give it a minute. Yeah. Any minute now. This guy seems real weird.
So he's a nepo baby for one thing.
Yeah, I heard that from you, and that's I mean, that's Hollywood, right? Like that's like the least of his crimes, right? Is that like, oh, he's a nepo baby. Oh, okay, well, him and everybody else.
So okay. Here's a. So apparently, the way that the actors talked about him in season 1 was glowing. That he was respectful, and that, like, I don't know if you heard me say that Zendaya and him were like like we're pals. We're doing this together. We're excited about it. And now
sure.
she's just not even being around him if she doesn't have to be.
Right.
And that pretty strongly suggests that she's ready to be done with it as soon as she doesn't have a contract with it anymore, or she's completed. But so let's see. So this is a Reddit post. Somebody pointed out, as a fan, pointed out that when actors talked about working with him, Sam Levinson on season 1, they seemed to largely talk positive about him. That he worked very close with them to create the most authentic experience. Especially Hunter Schafer. Had a lot of influence on Jules, the character she played.
Yeah.
All the characters have so much depth. I constantly learn about things I missed about them when reading this subreddit and watching videos about Euphoria. And then there's season 2. First, Barbie said she's over with Euphoria, and that'd be one of the characters from the first season that basically they ran through her arc, and essentially they were just trying to default her to being the fat friend. And she was like, fuck that. She didn't like quit suddenly or anything. They agreed to write her off the show essentially.
Right.
Now let's see. And Kat was barely touched on that season. Also, Jules and Kat both seem to have changed so much, and we're making decisions unlike them. Now the third season is coming out, and Zendaya says that she too had too much. Now suddenly I hear over and over again how much of an asshole Sam Levinson is. Oh, and Labyrinth writing double fuck Euphoria. That'd be what I just mentioned, the musician. What the hell happened? Was Sam always like this? Blah blah blah. So you have people speculating that there was like a ghostwriter in season 1.
Sure.
Because
that happens.
And apparently this guy like rejects a writer's room. He insists on writing everything. And he interview I read with him, he talks about just deciding on set while they're about to be filming something that he's going to rewrite entire scenes. And he's just like, yeah, Zendaya's cool with it. She'll do this. She'll nail it. You know, I just
he has a high opinion of his everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, give me the confidence of mediocre white men.
Let's see. So, okay, one person here claims that there was, I guess, somewhat of a writer's room to some extent, despite claims that there wasn't. Which is weird that he would be trying to claim that there's not. That's also just a weird thing. Like,
that's very weird. Yeah,
I do this all myself. Weird.
Very, very bizarre.
In the interview that I read with him is that he made sure to mention that all of the actors signed new contracts for this season in a way that, like, in the context of almost like, so anything that they can't complain. They sign new contracts. You know what I mean?
There's a contract. There's a contract. You can't complain. There's a contract. That you have to make a deal about. That is a clue.
So yeah, apparently he's a creep. He's asked them to pretty much everybody, I guess, except Zendaya, because it seems she's got a pretty strong clause in her contract that she doesn't do nude or whatever. But he absolutely just has asked them on the spot, like, "Oh, can we just do this with but naked?" And then some actresses have pushed back, like, and I don't think he's like forced it beyond that, from what I understand. But like, still, if you're on set and you are expecting a scene to go a certain way and it has nothing to do with you being naked, there's no reason for you to be naked or less clothed than you already are.
Right.
And just suddenly going, yeah, let's lose the shirt or whatever.
I'm sure it's fine without let's just do it naked, I guess. That's just a thing we do now. What a weird guy. Not yeah. Uh-oh.
Well, we got the authority here.
It's old time.
Authority on weird guys. No, kidding.
Yeah, speaking of weirdos, hey.
What's up, man?
Howdy.
Hey.
Mic check. Do I sound okay?
Sound fantastic.
Nice.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yes. So everyone knows that securing a contract means you have consented to everything forever.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's
at least during the filming of this season. Yeah.
Well, it depends, because your contract probably could have terms that doesn't let that be the case. The contract is the contract. And also, if I recall, you can't be under contract to do something that breaks certain laws and stuff as well. So, like, that null and voids the whole contract.
No. You consent once to one thing.
Oh, forever.
Consented to everything after that. Forever.
Oh, Forever. Okay.
Perks, right?
No.
What?
Okay, Andrew Tate.
So here's a post from 11 days ago on r/Euphoria. And it's titled, Sam Levinson is polluting the minds of viewers through degenerate media. I'm a Gen Z female. I watched all the seasons of Euphoria years ago. Close for my teen years, Euphoria felt eerily familiar. It was one of the more accurate, unfortunately, depictions of youth society and dynamics in the West. The culture, relationships, social relationships were probably all somewhat relatable, or at least something the audience saw. You know what? I don't know where this is going to go, so I should probably not read it.
Read it out loud.
Okay, yeah, fuck this. Everyone,
Oh.
number 3, list of the things that are wrong with it: blasphemy.
Oh.
No,
All right. Yeah, this went places.
sorry for wasting your time on even reading that much of it. So I was trying to find like what a fan is, what might say about like their experience watching it from the beginning to this point, and that's something that came up. So
Right.
that's
just a weirdo being a weirdo.
So here's a brief list of some of the general discourse around the Sam Levinson. Production and misconduct, and The Idol, which is Idol was I guess another show he had launched that only got 1 season because it was so egregiously fucked up that everybody hated it and just got canceled.
So this guy's just a kind of a weenie.
Wait, I remember The Idol being. I hope I'm not mixing this up with another project, but
it's the one that had The Weeknd in it.
Yeah, I recall it being that something along the lines of the women or the woman character, the actress being asked to or pressured into doing like real sexual acts on set or some shit like that.
I mean, so like the pattern, the objectively observable pattern is with this guy's stuff is grape or grape adjacent contexts of sex, women having sex or being graped or very close to it, or like kind of weird, blurred lines to call back an old.
Oh boy, that's a reference I haven't heard in a long time.
That is a throwback. Our generation is showing there. Wow. Okay.
So stuff like that, and it just seems to be that and like I was saying, it in the first season, the couple of episodes that I watched, it, there's disturbing, upsetting stuff like that, but it seems to have be saying something at least. I'm not sitting here saying that it shouldn't be challenged or criticized because it's got something to say, or that everybody should like it. I'm just saying that like I could understand that like if you're trying to make a show where you're saying these are real circumstances that teenage girls are finding themselves in, and this is how upsetting it is. That's okay. Well, sure, but like then as time goes on, it seems like with that Idol and then with this, as it's just examples of him just like kind of getting some fetish out. He's admitted to being a former porn addict, which not trying to judge anybody on that, but like
whenever someone
wonder if he's kind of like he's gotten over his porn addiction by like being able to create basically softcore scenes on his own and have.
Whenever I hear someone say they're a porn addict, or especially a recovering porn addict or former porn addict, I like my hackles go up.
Yeah, because it's not really an addiction, really.
No, not really. Like in the sense that like any human can get addicted to anything that releases the good hormones.
Video games, yeah.
Like in that way, yes, but like I don't know.
I think it's in principle. I think it's something you can get addicted to.
Sure,
but people who brag about it as like I am a recovering porn addict and use that in their creative vision, that's what's creepy to me.
Yeah.
If I just don't like using the word addiction. I think it cheapens what addiction actually is. Whereas you could say that you have a problematic habit or whatever you've got.
Yeah.
Dependency issues. You've got compulsive issues about pornography, and it's like that's okay. Yeah, sure. We talk about that, but like I don't know.
when you frame it as an addiction, I have more questions. Because of the sorts of people who say that are normally not great people.
Reddit discussions, especially during the release of The Idol, pointed to alleged toxic on-set practices. This included accusations of a disorganized, uncomfortable, and highly sexualized environment that pushed boundaries beyond what was necessary. Oh yeah, now I remember. So one scene in The Idol depicts they have an intimacy coordinator in that is on the set of the thing they're filming, because it's like about an actress, right?
Sure.
And so they have an intimacy coordinator who gets somebody gleefully locks her in a closet or something like that. Which, that kind of makes a statement, I feel like. If you wrote that scene and then depicted like, let's take this intimacy coordinator and have her be locked in, a closet where she's helpless and can't do anything about whatever. You can't do her job.
Pretty gross.
Wait, they locked, not as part of a scene, they locked her in the closet on the set?
It was the scene, yes.
The intimacy coordinator was locked in the closet?
In the scene, the actor's playing an intimacy coordinator, just to be clear.
Oh, the actor playing the
okay.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like, if it was actually that I would have led with that from this, talking about this guy. If it was actually that, but the fact that it was just a scene that was depicted and, that was not real, but still was depicted. It's a very specific thing to do in a show or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you're making some kind of statement there. But nonetheless, so yeah, environment pushed boundaries beyond what was necessary. Many users express discomfort with the sheer amount of gratuitous nudity, specifically regarding female characters like Sydney Sweeney's Cassie and Lily Rose Depp in The Idol, which some users describe as creepy, sex-obsessed fantasy. I mean, that's the kind of thing where, like, for instance, Sydney Sweeney keeps saying that she's like, I'm totally, down. Like, if there's something I don't want to do, I've told him I don't want to do that, and we don't do it. But for the most part, she seems very, very happy to, let them things fly around. She's enjoying the attention, I think, which, good for her.
Yeah. Oof.
So reports of actors having to request the removal of uncomfortable scenes and accusations that he does not take actor feedback on character development have caused backlash. Writing and plot issues. Critics on Reddit often argue that his projects, especially Euphoria Season 2, suffer from style over substance, featuring shallow, disorganized storylines masked by intense visual aesthetics. Let's see. Yeah, a significant portion of the discourse revolves around the idea that his portrayal of teenage sexuality is exploitative rather than realistic, leading many to label his directing style as creepy or gross.
Yeah.
And that was with regard to The Idol or to
that was most
both shows?
Both, basically, yeah.
Because I have to say, I've never watched Euphoria. I've never been interested in it, so I cannot speak from personal experience with the show about whether it's creepy or not. I'll just take the word of people who
have, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've like I said, I watched the first few episodes. I know what kinds of things it started with, and from what I can tell, most people that were fans of the show or whatever, like, they were cool with that level of it, like that they understood what they were getting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen repeatedly say that there was a purpose behind it. There was, there seemed to be it was balanced with some sense of social responsibility to, like, make a point about these things and not to glorify or exploit or whatever. And then it's just that aspect of it apparently has been reduced in favor of, the girl with poop on her leg having the dog come up behind her and lick the poop on her leg.
It's gross.
It is gross. I will granted that, but it is like, I can see, in principle, I can see artistic visions where that would be justified.
Right.
Yes. I mean, look, that's what I want to, make sure clear here is this is like, I'm not sitting here having I don't like this, so it shouldn't exist kind of thing. It's just more like I don't think that the show itself, if everybody is consenting on what's going on and stuff like that, then, I'm sure we'll find out some more nuanced takes about how consenting it was later on. But, like, Doesn't seem like anybody's being literally forced in anything. Doesn't seem like anybody's super duper unhappy with it. You know, if Zendaya wanted to get out of the show, I'm sure she probably could. You know what I mean? So like, it's just I, I I don't know. It's mainly the fact that, so like the main criticism I have of the show that I started when I started digging into it the other day, the main thing that I had about it is no longer the case, which is that the show was originally the first 2 seasons about high school kids, right? Whenever the show started first airing, for instance, you know, my partner's teenage daughter got into watching the show, and but apparently that was happening a lot with high school kids. They were watching the show, and you know, apparently that became an issue pretty quickly, where parents were figuring out or whatever, and so HBO or you know something basically had to come out and make it clear that this show is not for children. It's not for kids. This is for an adult show. And then it's like, but then my mind goes right to, well, then why the fuck are you showing these explicit sex scenes with these, to be clear, adult actors playing teenagers though? You know what I mean? And it's like, there's nothing actually illegal going on there, whatever, but it just, I don't understand the point of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
See, just that description gives me personally the ick.
Yeah, and
Yes.
like,
And yeah,
especially when you know that, you know, like, I mean, we know there is a problem with, you know, go to any fucking, I mean, unless you don't, if you're not looking at porn sites, don't go to them, but go to any porn site, and one of, if not the top, you know, kind of content that you're going to find on there is like barely legal shit, right? Which is saying what? Well, she was not illegal yesterday, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
or she was not legal yesterday, or whatever it was, and you're feeding into that kind of thing. There is absolutely a problem of you know, just misogyny in general, but misogyny with a dose of fetishization for underage girls. It's, yeah, I don't know, it just seems irresponsible, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
What it speaks to me is it's a reflection of the resurgence of cultural misogyny, right? My personally having the ick over the show is not a justification for calling it a bad show. It just doesn't, it's not for me. But
I would just have to side eye anybody, any like adult man, or this is like, I love that show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing. It's a based on what I've heard, it's a reflection of, like, there's been a backlash to the whole Me Too thing culturally. And this show is kind of appealing to the prurient interest side of that. It's because it sounds like it's a lot of degrading scenes with women in them, what, you know, and
I guess
sexual acting out sexual fantasies about teenagers, even though the actors are adults. It's an adult show about kids that's sexually explicit or almost fully sexually, I don't know, but it's very, very sexual. And adults who like watching content about kids having sex is kind of sus to me. I'm sus about the audience and about the filmmaker.
I mean, you know, like I was saying at the beginning, like I watched the first few episodes thinking, you know, like it looked interesting, just like the visual of it and everything. And by all accounts, that's still the main selling point, is just it looks, and then the music is also very good, apparently. And then I'm sure, you know, the performances are good. But the thing that kind of made me, you know, kind of disconnect from it after a few episodes was like, I'm not a high school girl in the current day. And so there's a lot of this that I just don't connect with, and actually struggle to kind of see any value in personally. Like, not to say that there's no value, but like, so I understand if there's a, you know, young women or whatever that have lived through things like these, you know, connect with it. That's completely understandable, but it just wasn't.
I simply don't, at face value, I do not trust an adult man in his 30s or older to handle that material with the kind of nuance it deserves. If it were a woman who had lived through that, I would be less suspicious of it. But whenever a man in his 30s or 40s, or I don't know how old this guy is, but an adult man wants to make a movie or a TV show about the sexual lives of teenage girls and sell it as something that is a realistic portrayal, even if it feels real to a lot of the audience. I just don't. I think we should check the man's hard drive, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's something
Yeah.
going on there that's, like you mentioned earlier. We're going to hear accusations about this guy in the future. That's what I think.
Here's from Jezebel the thing that I was reading about him that you know, maybe unfairly, I don't know, painted my understanding of the guy. Probably not. Reading about Sam Levinson reminds me of why I'm not watching Euphoria. That's him right there. Son of Barry Levinson, who I think directed Men in Black. Is that right? I think so.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
And Wild Wild West. And no, wait, that was Barry Sonnenfeld. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I think I think you're right. Wasn't the guy from Men in Black either. What the hell did Barry Levinson direct? Anyway, in the 4 years of Euphoria-less time, HBO's provocative primetime hit still lingered like a bad high as chatter consistently surfaced about writer-director Sam Levinson's toxic work environment and his feuds with various actors. In addition, the press for the third season was as barely there as the costumes on Levinson's actresses, leading fans to speculate that the major players were creating distance from his name. Most recently, Labyrinth, the featured artist on the season 2 soundtrack, posted a declaration on Instagram saying double fuck Euphoria. So clearly shit went down and somebody has got some explaining to do. In an interview with the New York Times published on Wednesday, Levinson avoided addressing the years of rumors surrounding his sets for this season. This is the first thing he said. Just because everything that happened in the time between the seasons, we wanted to make sure everyone had fresh deals. No one was contractually obligated to return, he said, suggesting that everyone returned of their own volition, despite however much they may regret it now. The interviewer noted that during their chat, Levinson was juggling 4 tins of Zin. Cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool guy shit. This is obviously very editorialized. So they're like, the more I read about Euphoria and Levinson's patterns of behavior on set, the more I'm reminded why I won't be watching it. Despise this type of film guy. And the same type of guy who believes he's some genius director for writing graphic teen sex scenes.
Right. That's you get the feel that he was like writing with one hand and doing something else with the other hand. Right?
He's wielding 2 pens.
I'm so awesome. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to check and make sure. So some of Barry Levinson's films that we would have heard of would be Diner, Tootsie, The Natural, Good Morning Vietnam, Rain Man.
Okay.
So Wag the Dog.
Look, as problematic as Rain Man is, I used to love that movie before I even knew I was on the spectrum. So I'm giving it's grandfathered in for me. Wapner, gotta watch Wapner. So
Qantas, yeah.
And this writer was very much hoping there was going to be some drama at the premiere a few weeks ago. But so Zendaya and Levinson paused for a very brief hello before she was perhaps strategically pulled away. In 2024, the Hollywood Reporter reported a rift between the two. At the time, Levinson reportedly blamed her schedule for the production delays, even though he had no script and had paused writing to focus on his failed show. Like, what the fuck is that? It's her fault. It's her schedule. You have anything written? No.
Is he pulling a critical drinker?
Apparently so.
Oof.
It was the actress's fault. Yeah.
But I mean, she's got too much going on. So what's the point in writing? So The Idol, which allegedly spiraled off the rails under his direction and was called torture porn, a label people have also applied to Euphoria. He says he thinks that's hysterical, and I'm really proud of it. Red flag number, we lost count.
I stopped counting.
Yeah. So like this kind of the discourse I've seen around this show calls back to me. I have a list in my head of the best movies I will never watch again. And one of those movies is Requiem for a Dream.
That's the number 1 on that fucking list for me. Absolutely.
Which is a brilliant film, but it's incredibly disturbing and
perfect what it's trying to do. It's so perfect, I never need to see it again.
Right. Yeah, it's a great film you watch once.
Yeah.
I'm
And
gonna be a star.
and this show could be that. I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But
I think by all accounts, season 1 maybe was that. But and then
yeah.
like, you know, and like I was saying at the beginning that whenever what was it the Labyrinth guy, he was saying that I didn't know this except for him saying it, that season 1 nobody had you know, like management, nobody had, you know, any success really. They were mostly pretty unknown. And so like a lot's changed since then, you know, and it's I wonder, I don't know. If something's going to come out. Mark my words. Mark our words. Um yeah, then there's the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, you know. She sucks.
Yeah, she's supposed to be the star of the live action Gundam movie Netflix is doing, and the Gundam fandom is like, well, guess I'm skipping that one.
It's terrible.
And the
I
fandom was
kinda-
all. Go ahead.
I can't think of anything I've actually seen her act in right offhand.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, no.
I know there's some things I've read about her being in that sounded interesting, like the lesbian boxer movie. But then there was like a controversy about her, like, doing some Hollywood politicking and stuff to take that role away from Ruby Rose.
Right.
Yeah.
Who is not a great actor, but you know, is in the community anyway.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, so she did that movie Immaculate that I watched a video, like there's this channel I watch sometimes whenever they cover horror movies and they basically just tell you the whole plot. And so every once in a while there's like one that I'm not sure that I want to see, but I actually want to know about it.
Sure.
And so I watched the video about that movie Immaculate where she plays she's a new nun at a convent.
Oh yeah.
She ends up pregnant, seemingly for no apparent reason. And kind of the mystery around that, she kind of becomes the favorite of the priest there, and it's just kind of like that's the kind of thing that you know, I can see that being an entertaining thing, especially the way that it ends. Spoiler alert if anybody wants to not have Immaculate spoiled, but she apparently literally gives birth to a demon baby.
Oh, fun.
And then she smashes it to death with a rock, and that's how the movie ends.
Oh,
there you go. I guess.
So up until that point, I was going to say, oh, it's Rosemary's Baby.
Kinda, yeah.
If that birth was the result of manipulation by a secret cult, which I suspect it was in the film. Oh, she was in Madam Web. Okay, I have seen that, and I completely forgot about it.
Well, it's because everyone forgot about Madam Web.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, she was in that. And then once again, it mentions here at the end, not to mention that the entire concept of Euphoria was originally a scrapped Petra Collins project that she didn't realize had been overtaken by Levinson until she saw it on a billboard.
Oh,
which is just crazy. That's
so the
classic Hollywood scumbag shit.
And the reason that they told her they're not going forward with her is because she was too young, which is just kind of that's a weird reason to give whenever this is the show you started making.
They weren't going forward with her as a director,
as the showrunner, the creative mind.
Okay.
But what they did was they took her visual aesthetic, which she definitely brought to the production, and they were going to go with it based largely on her visuals and stuff. They just gave that to this guy, a nepo baby.
Great.
I hate it here.
Take away all of the basically the content, the issues with the content, or you know, whether you were cool with or not cool with this type of edgy, provocative sexualities kind of stuff. You'll set that aside. The thing that this reeks of to me, for the most part, is that decisions are not made for very artistic or creative reasons.
They're made like a snuff film.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, I guess the visual aesthetic is still what it was from the beginning. So that's, you know, and I've seen clips and trailers and stuff, and it looks great. It's just fucking cool vibe to the whole thing. If not, sometimes when appropriate, it is a little bit grimy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's just what my boils down to my main issue, that the vibes I get from all of this is like, these are not choices that are made because somebody thinks this is going to tell a very compelling story or very great characterization or anything like that. It's just this is gonna be we're gonna have the dog lick the poop off her butt, you know.
Yay! You know what it reminds me of? It's like if someone told me they were doing like a parody of a CW like teen show, because those shows had a lot of like not this same level of like snuff film attitude, but sort of a level of like tease to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was made for, I mean, most CW shows were made for a teens to early 20s audience. Even some of the early like Arrow shows are very much like that.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Only somehow
written by
grosser.
Kate Fan. Yeah. It belongs in the same category of quote unquote women's empowerment with big scare quotes as like the movie Sucker Punch, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I admit to having a bit of a fondness for, while completely recognizing how fucking absurd and problematic and just like not actually empowering for women that it actually is.
Yeah. Well, like most Zack Snyder movies, it's great if you turn off the sound and have the visuals running in the background while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Because I'll give him, he's a great visual stylist, I think, but
yeah,
that's about it. But anyway, I know I joined late and everything, but your thumbnail said it was the show was repulsive and criminal. Are we missing something, or do you?
I mean, I was
just hiding your power level.
Being a little bit loose with what I was talking about. So the repulsive thing, if you look at the thumbnail, it is about it is covering up the character's butt in the shot where there's poop on her, and that's it's actually using the words to cover up the dog from that scene. And if this was a real thing, of course that'd be criminal. That's what I meant by that. I was being, a little bit loose.
Okay,
a little spicy.
I do remember I read an article earlier this week, I feel like, about the scene you mentioned earlier with Sydney Sweeney. Her character is an OnlyFans model now, and she was doing doing a scene on OnlyFans where she pretends to be a baby.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
And apparently, according to the article I read, in real life, OnlyFans does not allow that kind of content.
Oh.
They don't allow people who, from what I read, they don't allow people who mimic being children to make content on the platform.
I'm glad if that's the case, then that's good. That's great. If only this guy gave a shit enough to actually research the real life thing that he was depicting.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's something he wishes would be allowed on that platform.
I get a strong sense from that kind of thing that this is just him spinning his wheels at this point. Like, I gotta keep the numbers up. I gotta do something crazy,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that they're absolutely real life, sick, fucked up people who, that, and I'm not. Consenting adults can do whatever consenting adults want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, it might be weird to me. I might not understand it, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you're fucking definitely evil if you dress up like a baby or some shit. But like, it's, I don't get it. And I definitely think that there are people who might see that in a show like this and think, oh, it's being normalized. And yeah, take the wrong lesson from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, we lost Morgan.
Uh-oh. Where'd Morgan go? Did I accidentally kick Morgan out or something?
She muted herself, or at least her mic muted a minute ago.
We don't need to make a big deal.
Maybe she'll be back. Who knows? Hopefully she's okay.
Image that I covered up with the words there. Let me get this. Yeah.
That's a dog? Oh, yeah. I see how it's a dog. Okay, it's a small dog.
The dog comes up to behind her. You can see that there is a poo-poo on her inner leg there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's also a little bit of butt showing because, you gotta sexualize the girls even when they're in the context of pooping drugs out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. that always makes me sus about the director when they do that kind of shit, because if you're trying to tell a story about how degrading and dehumanizing the life of a drug smuggler is, and you also throw the male gaze shit in there at the same time,
Right.
that
Now,
mean-
I could see an argument to be, if it wasn't for all the stuff that we've already been learning about Sam Levinson, I could see a filmmaker doing exactly that as a way to challenge the male gaze. You know what I mean? Like to kind of cross the wires intentionally.
yeah, yeah,
That could be something that I could see as being valid, but like, I don't think that. I just feel like that's not why he did it.
yeah, yeah. I don't give him a pass for doing that, right? It's because there's that material is something you can absolutely make a compelling story about, and it can even be disgusting because that's the point you're going for. But if you try to make it disgusting and sexually titillating, something is really sus about you, I think.
I mean, if it's like I said, I mean, I definitely think that there's a valid approach that could be made where you like, let's say you want to make an overall point about challenging challenging the male gaze, challenging, how we just assume that some men just assume that women are there for whatever purpose they want, and so you have a sexy character that for the first part of a thing is depicted as being scantily clad and stuff, but then you throw an extra element onto it, like for example the poop, and say, okay, what do you think about that now? You know what I mean? Like, are you still, you're recognizing this as a person yet, or like that would be something I could see is maybe valid, but that would be only if I didn't know all the stuff that I've already been learning about Sam Levinson in the shows. So,
and again, that's something I don't trust a male filmmaker to do. I'm willing to give him a shot, but I'm not going to trust that that's his intention, because I don't see how a male filmmaker can, or any filmmaker can, make the male gaze part of the shot and also undermine it, because the ultimate effect of that is that there's always somebody out there with that specific fetish.
yeah.
And it's just going to help. It's going to undermine your artistic intent if that's what you're trying to do.
Indeed. So I had some stuff that I was gonna look at to kind of like wash the taste of that shit out. What you got going on? What else are we gonna talk about tonight?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a video right now.
I was, something. Give me a minute, because something came to mind earlier that would be fun to talk about, and I forgot what it was.
Okay.
Oh no, you covered it already. I was earlier today. I saw the Russell Brand thing on Pierce Morgan. It was hilarious to watch because the look on Pierce Morgan's face is just gold. Because he doesn't save
like
Russell Brand.
That had seen that too. Otherwise, I would prioritize. Let's check that out. But seems like a lot of people already watched that.
Saw what?
It looks like a lot of people were referencing that in chat earlier.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like that's maybe.
Have you watched it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I posted it in the server. That's why. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was one of the funniest fucking things I've seen all week, because of the fact that Pierce Morgan does not throw him a bone or save him in any way. He just sits there and stares at him.
Pierce Morgan's incredibly frustrating. I mean, like, he's got, I don't know what all of his positions are, but it seems like he's definitely moved on the Israel situation. Where it seems like Mehdi Hassan has actually gotten through to him, which is great. But then I think I haven't heard him update his trans views, which are very not good. You know what I mean? So like,
he tries to play enlightened centrist a little too hard.
I know. And I just, I don't know.
But the thing that makes him sometimes effective in that particular format, that particular genre of content, is that he's got ice in his veins, basically, when it comes to asking people questions.
Yeah.
I just wish he used that power for good more often.
True. Oh, this is pretty fun. So I don't know how to say this guy's name. Colorado. Is he a senator? I'm not sure. But he's been in some pretty good videos as far as like challenging conservatives on their bullshit, and which it's become obvious now that the approach to approving, for getting judges approved by the Trump Trump, approving judges, is just to do this fucking bad faith bullshit that everybody can tell is bad faith and dishonest, and they just keep doing it. Who won the election? Well, the state certified. Well, like, okay, but who won it? that shit.
Yeah.
That Joe Biden won Georgia? Do you agree with your colleague, Mr. Scott?
As reported, the state of Georgia cast its electoral ballots for Joe Biden.
What does that mean?
Well, we, in the House of Representatives, we witnessed the counting of the Electoral College, and the state of Georgia cast their ballots in support of Joe Biden.
Correct, and that is because he won the state of Georgia. And so
It was
therefore,
certified in the state of Georgia. That's an accurate statement. It was certified in the state of Georgia.
And I
like you're trying to
presume
be
you would say the same about the state of Minnesota
You
in 2024 with respect to Kamala Harris's victory there?
That the Electoral College was counted in favor of
That Kamala
yes.
Harris won the election in the state of Minnesota.
As reported from the state of Minnesota.
What is this? Why can't you just say yes? I don't understand.
I don't understand your confusion as to how the Electoral College was counted.
I'm not asking about the Electoral College. I'm asking about the popular vote in these respective states.
This is like the fucking government equivalent of I'm not touching you, but like you're like to a sibling, you're holding your finger like right in their face.
Yeah.
Going, I'm not touching you.
It's a legally correct answer.
Yep.
Right? So they can't be called up for a crime, for perjury later. They didn't technically lie. They're just not admitting to a very specific truth.
But I mean,
They're talking around it.
That Trump is intentionally installing these people across the country as judges.
Yeah.
That's not great. It's weasel shit, absolutely. And it's like what pisses me off with this one right there is that when he takes it to the next level just now, where he's like, I don't understand what your confusion is. That shit. Like, oh, fuck you, dude. Like, fuck you so hard.
Yeah.
That's how we elect the president of the United States.
Madam Chair.
I'm confused about why you keep pursuing this when you're getting an answer from these people telling you.
I am not getting an
that
answer.
the elections were certified.
Madam
That
Chair.
should be adequate.
Number one, Madam Chair, the time belongs to the Speaker,
I understand.
and
but
I'm happy to ask you the question. I'm happy to ask any Republican on this panel. I think the only person on the panel that will answer the question honestly is Mr. Scott from Georgia. If I ask anyone on the panel whether or not a particular candidate won the popular vote in a particular state, I get the same gobbledygook answers of various sequiturs as reported, as the Electoral College certified in the House of Representatives. I'm not asking that. I'm asking who won the state of Wisconsin, who won the state of Minnesota. If I go out and ask a citizen on the street who won Minnesota in 2024, every single one of them will say Kamala Harris won. The only people who equivocate are Republican politicians in this committee. That's a fact. We all know it. But in any event, I will agree with the chairwoman that it's not worth belaboring it, because I don't think I'm going to get a different answer out of Mr. Stile. Now, I'll go through 50 states, and you'll answer it the same way. Who won the state of Arkansas in 2024, Mr. Morelli?
State of Arkansas?
Yes.
In 2024?
Yes.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump won the state of Arkansas. Not as reported and as certified by Electoral College. He won the state of Arkansas. Mr. Stile, do you disagree? Who won the state of Arkansas in 2024?
I mean, I think we've made it pretty clear that we count. I think there was confusion maybe in your question.
Like
that
20-word
the
answers.
Electoral College
Who won?
determines who's the president of the United States. The Electoral College has been reported in the House of Representatives.
Yeah.
I don't think it's terribly confusing.
Okay, Mr. Stile. I mean, again, people can render their own judgments. Wild.
Yeah.
His name is Joe Neguse, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Okay. I mean, I do wonder if he's actually confounded by why they're doing this. Like, I have to think that he probably understands why they do it.
Oh, he's not confused at all. That's why he keeps asking the question. He knows damn well that he's exposing their bullshit, basically.
Yeah. got a couple other things. Did you guys see the when Alex Jones a couple weeks ago was on Tim Pool's show, the appearance he made there? Did you guys see that?
Sorry, I was looking away for a minute. Did I see what?
Did you see when Alex Jones was on Tim Pool's show a couple weeks ago?
Indeed.
Indeed, yes, exactly. It is something special. I find myself like softening on how I feel about Alex Jones, and that's, don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying that I think he's good or that I like him, but like it seems like as he's hopefully becoming less able to do Alex Jones shit at lots of people. I just think he's kind of adorable, you know, in like in the way that like like a really stupid puppy is or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always understood Alex Jones's appeal. The dude is like, he's unintentionally funny. He's not trying to be funny. He's just an inherently ridiculous person, and it's sometimes entertaining to watch because it's just so nuts. So now that he's losing everything and all he has left is being weird, it's even funnier.
During it. You know, one of the reasons I came down here is I was going to be playing poker at the lodge, and then the state shut him down. I'm pissed about it.
What's weird was I texted you a week ago. Somebody texted me and said, "Hey, Tim's here, come on the show." I'm like, "Am I supposed to be on your show?" Like, I don't know, but play poker. But
yeah, well, we want to do a poker game with you and a few other people. Not so much about poker, but about having fun, goofing off, and I think it'd be really fun to play a game.
I'm ready. I'm ready. But don't follow me at Real Life Shows on X, Infowars.com. We're getting shut down. We beat so many attacks, but finally we're shutting down like the middle of next month.
Wow.
It's gonna be insane what happens. People can, you know.
Yeah. So this is
oh my God.
Yeah.
Everyone has had this conversation with a drunk person at a party.
Absolutely.
That you're trying to move on from that person, or trying to get them, politely tell them, "Look, man, it's time to go."
But you're trying to still offer them some dignity that they do not have for themselves in that moment, right? Like,
yeah.
That's what, in a weird way, it's like, it's weird to kind of relate to what Tim Pool's doing there, but he's doing it for different reasons. I think, it's because they have their media relationships that they must treat with, as long as they're lucrative, they're going to treat them real well. But yeah, that was some strong chili, right? Did you know about that when he argued in court years ago about why he forgot his son's birthday?
Yeah.
Chili. It's fucking crazy.
Somebody's asking a very weird question here. I don't know what to make of this. Is this true? Getting in late, but did you guys see/hear about the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Is Trump doing another false flag attempt on himself or what?
I don't know. I'm going to look that up. If that's true, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's true. 2 hours ago, Trump evacuated after gunshots heard at White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Damn.
Wow. He's evacuated, huh? No. Well, maybe next time. Holding a press conference at White House on Saturday night, hours after he was evacuated from the White House Correspondents' Dinner following gunshots at the event. Trump, who was rushed off stage at the Washington Hilton Hotel ballroom after the sounds of gunfire sent attendees diving into their tables, said in a Truth Social post that law enforcement had asked him and other administration officials to leave the premises. Melania and all other cabinet members in this administration who are attending are in perfect condition. I don't know about that. I'm going to quibble with that when it comes to the general mental faculties level.
Yeah, they're not in perfect condition. They're just not any worse than they were before.
I've spoken with all
crazy dude
parts of the event, and we will be rescheduling within 30 days. Great, cool. We're doing it again. So yeah, shooter's been caught.
Wow. Did it happen? I'm not looking at an article. It looks like you are. Did it happen inside the building, or was it?
Seems to be that's the case. Yeah.
Wow. That is very surprising because,
man with a shotgun had approached metal detectors and was shot by Secret Service agents. He was taken away in handcuffs.
So he didn't get through. He approached.
Apparently,
didn't get through. I was going to say that's pretty lax.
Like he probably didn't even fire a shot, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
The shots that they heard were the Secret Service shooting him because he had a shotgun. Of what I'm guessing, or kind of deducing from this.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because if he got through, that was some very shitty security, because that's the fucking president of the United States.
We
whoever that
already
is.
know that there's something off about this guy just because he brought a shotgun, and you think you're gonna get close enough to use a shotgun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, fuck no. That's that kid that they claim attempted right before the election that time. He at least understood that he needed to do it from far enough away that he might have a chance. But he forgot he was a terrible shot.
Yeah.
And then
Well, maybe.
Which really, I imagine, was really frustrating to Trump because they expected him to wing him. Like, no, you got to wing him, and he missed. So they're like, oh, I don't know, let's cut his ear with glass or something. Is what I'm thinking happened.
I've never. That's the first time I've ever like indulged in a conspiracy theory, because it just doesn't. Everything about that event, if it were not for the fact that another person was really killed, I would think the whole thing was fake. Because the thing with the ear doesn't just seem to clear up too quickly and all that other shit. But a person was really killed. So there was live ammo involved.
Jumping up to do the fist in the air thing, and like I don't believe that Trump is that unshakable of a guy that would be what he does.
Yeah.
That screams just like, maybe, I mean, look, maybe he didn't know it was going to happen. I don't know. But like that definitely, came off to me like in the moment he made the self-marketing choice that he's always making, which is how can I make this, make people like me or want to give me money or whatever the fuck. In this case, vote for me. And he jumped up and did the fist in the air thing. And, that became their whole fucking rallying cry. So yeah, well, man, I wonder. Oh, well, judge dismisses Kash Patel's defamation lawsuit over claim that he frequented nightclubs.
Yeah. Shocking. The one against the Southern Poverty Law Center will also be thrown out of court.
I imagine so. That what I realized after looking into it a little bit, that's definitely Kash Patel fucking with an axe to grind for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. What, Jim Cramer? Are you fucking stupid? Jim Cramer says Tesla is a buy after hearing what Elon Musk said on the earnings call. Go look at what Elon Musk has said throughout, in various calls and earnings calls and projections and stuff like that over the years. Go fucking look. There's records of it. This motherfucker has been lying for well over a decade about what's going to happen with Tesla or whatever the next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just over and over and over again. I can't believe Jim Cramer would be that stupid. But no,
you can't believe Jim Cramer would be that stupid.
No, I can't. I can believe it. It's just like, that's such a ridiculous quote that, like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, yeah, listen to the earnings call. Musk said it in the earnings call. What, would he lie 17 times in a row?
Well, yes, he would. That's why like I recently decided to just stop consuming mainstream like corporate news media from the US. I still watch like independent media like on YouTube and shit, like Majority Report and Secular Talk and that kind of shit. But like CNN, MS Now, or whatever it's called these days.
I mean, honestly, I have not watched it unless it's because I'm happening across upon it on a feed and it's something that is brand new that I want to just like, I want to know about this right now. And there's a clip. I don't remember any time in the last decade really that I'm gonna go watch CNN or something.
Yeah. Well, like when I'm at work, I used to would devote a segment of my work day to listening to the news of the day, and I would pick like CNN or something like that just to see what the corporate mainstream media is talking about. And lately I've just grown really frustrated with their inability to just assume everything Trump says is a lie. They keep talking and answering and asking questions. Somebody will say something critical of the regime or whatever, and the reporter will be like, but the Trump administration says XYZ. How do you know they're not lying? And I'm like, dude, it's been like 10 fucking years of this shit.
Yeah.
It's not, it's the job of journalism is to be objective, and the objective truth is that the guy lies all the fucking time. So don't assume he's telling the truth.
I mean, look, I see how the media has gotten themselves in. It's like, I was really into journalism in high school and stuff. That's, probably my favorite class. And like, I really took the whole, the ethics of journalism very seriously. And I see how they can, if you're incentivized by, kind of corporate interests to do so, that, yeah, you can totally lock yourself into this fucking almost like systemically naive position of reporting based on those ethics, right? And I got in an argument with my friend about this a few years ago when he was like, we need to go back to being objective, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Because he was big into journalism and shit too, and I was like, that's not, like, it's not possible, man. We need to move on and like understand new ways to process media, because that has become a fucking millstone around democracy's neck.
Yeah. Well, they confuse objectivity with balance. Those are not the same thing, right? You do not have to air both sides of, did the Holocaust happen? Which I think we're very close to doing in mainstream media, honestly. You don't have to offer both sides equal time if the issue is obviously, leaning, if the facts are obviously pointing all in the same direction, right? And I'm sick of it. So I don't consume so-called news content from the traditional sources anymore.
Look, man, I know that they're very embarrassing and they're very stupid and they think that they're way more clever than they are, but I just don't see that being.
What?
So, yeah, Carolyn Levitt apparently, this is accurate, said on Fox News before the start of the dinner that everyone should watch tonight because Trump will bring the heat and there will be shots fired.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they would try that.
Yeah, they wouldn't. That was obviously rhetorical. They also said like Trump was going to show up to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and get revenge on the press, right? Because the guy cannot get over that time that Obama embarrassed him.
Right to his face.
Right to his face. Too. I think that was the inciting incident of all of the madness that followed. That was the moment the guy decided to just destroy the country.
Here, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, so that we're really fine.
All right.
Well,
indeed.
Are you leaving? Is that why you're saying all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am exhausted, brother.
Well, it's good to have you.
Now this is 4 a.m. Unless you can do a table dance for me.
No.
He's not on this table.
None of this? Yeah.
Maybe next time.
These things are probably like
Yeah,
$20.
it's really not going to withstand anybody.
Oh, no, these are okay.
Well, my wife over there.
Pull it off.
Maybe do a table dance. Anyway.
The shit he starts talking about Joe Rogan's giant vagina is fucking, it's just timeless, priceless. It's fucking pure comedy, performance genius. And I, man, if he could do that shit like on purpose and with intention, he could be, he could have a whole new career.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's going to have to do something because he owes a ton of money to the Sandy Hook families, and the sale of InfoWars is not going to cover it. The dude is going to have to be generating income that immediately goes to them for the rest of his life. So he'll find somewhere to land, and every cent he makes off of it that doesn't go to his like basic needs or whatever legally has to go to them because the judgment against him was like several $1 billion, which he doesn't have. So he's basically their bitch for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of this clip to me was towards the beginning, I think, where he just says something completely unintelligible and Tim Pool goes, "Indeed."
Yes, that was at the start of it. Yeah. It's fucking amazing. I'm trying to find this short that I saw the other day that has have you heard the details of what they're planning on doing as far as the money that the InfoWars makes?
No.
Yeah, let me find that because it's it almost like brought, I mean, like it actually did kind of almost kind of started weeping a little bit just because of how like, oh, that's fucking beautiful, that's amazing, that's good news, you know what I mean? Like let me I think this might be it. Let me pull this here. A second to download it, because I'm trying not to show videos on the screen sharing function, because I think that's what tends to get my crap to go crazy. So I just download the video instead.
Oh, so you have to download the video and then upload it.
In the meantime, check this out.
Going to believe this. So you've probably seen this picture of Clav going around. It's him from high school. I saw it as well, and I thought to myself, dude, I swear I have seen this picture before, sometime years ago. So of course I dig deeper and I search his Instagram name in my camera roll, and look, I have the exact same picture screenshotted April 30th, 2023, Braden.Peters. And you may be asking, Blake, why do you have this picture? It's because he was DMing me talking shit. You can see the exact same Braden Peters account. Nice fake Lambo shit eater. I'm the one who posted you on Reddit. I absolutely mog you, and it's not even close. I'm so much more jacked than you, and I'm only 17. I genuinely hate you. If you don't stop posting, I'm gonna send you to North Korea for crimes against humanity. I solemnly swear to hate on you for the rest of your days because I'm a spiteful motherfucker. This is the first of many hate messages that won't stop coming until you delete your account. And it goes even deeper as well. This all started because he posted me on Reddit, basically just talking shit. And back then, I checked his account, and here's his post in the testosterone subreddit. He goes, 1 year on test, 16-year-old transformation, 30 to 40 pound gain. This is him, right? This is Braden.Peters. I know it too because he's got the same gap in his chest. And of course, after this, I searched his account. Most of his posts are now deleted, but he does have one comment left, still alive. Someone asked in the Christianity subreddit, is it okay if I'm gay and Christian? He says no. I cannot believe I still have these screenshots, but yeah, this is your king, Braden.Peters, officially a Roman Catholic.
Cool guy. I definitely don't believe that all of the stuff that he's doing now is rooted in the deep insecurity at all. I don't think
I don't get it. What was the point of that guy's video? Is that supposed to like embarrass the guy or something?
I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to embarrass. What it does for me is it reveals like the deep insecurity that is obviously, you know, why he does what he does, but like that is almost just like confirming it with a little bit of historical example of, you know, like how petty he is, and you know, he thinks he's mogging some guy on his posts or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, seeing him clavicular kind of just crash and burn over the last month has been pretty cool.
Yeah,
I will say, you know, he overdosed, and I didn't realize watching the video about it, like I didn't realize it was like a overdose, and then it gets to a point where he's like actually twitching and shit, and it was pretty upsetting to see that. But I mean, this is a guy that is making all these decisions about for the wrong reasons. Like, he's just got a fundamentally fucking broken view of things, and yet he's going 150 miles an hour in the direction of supporting those views, and it just, you know, he's gonna fucking die if he doesn't actually stop doing the drugs, and he's probably gonna get some other people killed just with his influence, and that's not great. Anyway, I don't know why.
The looks maxing guy, right? Clavicular. This is the looks maxing guy. Okay.
Yes. Have you seen when like him get mad at I think we watched it where he was interviewing with what's his name?
Yeah.
He got frustrated, and because he didn't want to talk about letting him talk about it, doing his grift or whatever. And he got mad. He was like, he didn't believe that Andrew Callahan just doesn't wake up and feel like he hates himself every morning. So he's like, oh yeah, man, I don't believe you. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, you think that everybody's like that because you're like that. I see. Anyways, here is a thing that explains what's going on with the purchase and then the eventual money that comes into the brand new InfoWars, which by the way, you know, speaking of money, they have a program that sounds pretty cool where you can turn your piss into gold.
You know what's funny about that is that the ad, it's obviously a fake ad, but the ad on their webpage says turn your gold into piss.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
That's fucking funny. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what you're doing by sending any money to Alex Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just turning your money into piss and vinegar, essentially.
Yeah.
Here we go.
A 2-minute spiel real quick, where we're at, where we've been, where we're going.
The Onion's about to take over InfoWars, and Tim's about to be in charge of that thing. Right now, Alex still has control of it for a couple days. Alex Jones, who, by the way, Tim, I don't know, does your throat hurt from doing that voice? Because mine does. Mine really, it's real hard to get down here for like.
No, I don't. It actually is quite soothing. Feels good.
I want to get to all of Alex's reactions to this because they're unbelievably, they're funnier than I thought they were going to be, I think. I really am surprised where he went with it. And we don't really talk about it maybe enough, but how does this relate to the families of the Sandy Hook victims?
The families of this the kids of Sandy Hook who lost their lives in literally the worst conceivable way you can lose your life. They were killed in school. Alex Jones immediately and for years said that this did not happen and that everyone was faking it and all this stuff. The families weren't real. It's all a government psyop and the kids didn't really exist. And people had were defacing the kids' graves, things like that. The families had to move and all this stuff. Anyways, because of that, he owes the families $1.4 billion in defamation claims.
Yeah.
Which is the largest of all time. It has been 8 years and 6 days since they originally filed suit, and these families have not received a single penny yet. And he has moved his assets around. He's done all this like horrible stuff. 17 months ago, we bid on his assets and we won. A lot of stuff happened. It was 9 days after the election, so judge got a little spooked, moved it out of his court, went to state court, and a couple days ago, it was announced that we've come to an agreement with the families and the receiver to take over InfoWars and install Tim as the new head of InfoWars. And the most important part of this whole thing is the families will get paid. They're going to get a cut of merch for a very long time until we can actually fully pay them for the whole thing. But once we buy the thing, all of the $1 million+ or something that we put into this thing will go directly to the families. For the first time, they'll receive some money. And in the meantime, we will be receiving some really, truly insane panic because Alex had no idea this was happening this week. You can tell.
Yeah. So I sort of knew that. Like, I just knew that basically.
I was kind of implicitly trusting that they were going to do the right thing to some degree, but just hearing him say it is like,
yeah. Yeah. I believe that was Tim Onion, right? That's not his real name, but
that's not his real name.
That's Tim.
He's
who
also
runs
not,
the
the last name is also not like tetrahedron or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. That guy in real life is the partner, possibly now the husband, I don't know for sure, of Kat Abu Ghazaleh.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's talk about a power couple, dude. Wow. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that they're actually going to follow through on that. But it's yeah, I knew. So like Alex Jones like declared bankruptcy to try and get around it.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I mean, what else do you do whenever you owe $1.4 billion but declare bankruptcy anyway? Like, I'm not defending him, but like,
yeah. But he's going to have to do something to generate income because he still has to pay them. And essentially every cent he makes, since he declared bankruptcy, I think he gets to keep whatever assets he had and they can't touch that, but he still has to pay them. So he's going to have to do something to generate income to pay them for the rest of his life, basically.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's not going to have to until we have a different administration, probably.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's going to be,
that may be sooner rather than later. You never know.
Yeah.
The way things are going.
I mean, not tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Real close, apparently, but no, guy used a brush shotgun instead of something that might have worked. Yeah, his fans send him crypto, of course. It's ridiculous, man. Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan probably fucking would happily drop some cash out of his giant vagina, which Alex Jones wants to go up into. He wants to, because I don't know if you listen to the details of how once he starts talking about Joe's vagina in this video, he says some insane, awesome shit.
Yeah.
He's literally falling asleep.
Exhausted.
Have a nice rest, man. Well, it's good having you, brother. Just come back whenever you want.
Go for hours, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go for another 2 hours.
I want to come back.
You are allowed. That is always that is acceptable.
Here for 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Oh, please throw
Do not
up.
visit
I'll be
Real
sad.
Shows on X. Gonna follow it.
Too late. They're there right now. Real Alex Jones on X. Did you get it?
But imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy.
Look at him. He's actually imagining it. He's like, yeah.
Right up there, we're like,
No.
I mean, elevated,
like a jellyfish.
teleported up into Joe Rogan's vagina.
Let me explain this.
Yeah, please do.
So at the very beginning of this interview, remember the first
One of the first time that I remember Alex Jones being on Joe Rogan, which was a pretty, it was a big deal that was happening. That was right. That was whenever I had watched Joe Rogan years before and enjoyed some of it and stuff like that, but I hadn't watched him in a while. And he started having Elon Musk on, and I was like, it was a big episode. I think it was like the one where Elon got stoned for the first time with him, and like the clips were going around. So I was like, oh, Alex Jones on there too. I got to see some of this. And I just remember thinking, it was the first time I'd ever seen Alex Jones. Like, he's obviously trying to make them think he's cool. Like, he's trying to be a cool guy.
Yeah.
That really just ruined whatever. I mean, look, Alex Jones never fucking duped me. I never fell for his shtick. But there was like the air of like, he was performing this character pretty well for the most part, and then in that moment on that podcast was like, oh god, that's terrible. He looks like a, the nerdy kid that's really trying desperately to make the cool kids like him or something. So did Elon Musk. But by the way, my experience with Alex Jones and InfoWars, it's just kind of bizarre. I was reflecting on it. So I moved to Austin, Texas in 2005. And then I started seeing, as I'm learning Austin, going around town, stickers on light posts and fucking just everywhere. InfoWars, Prison Planet, right? And I was like, that's interesting terms to see, just like stickers for all over the place and have no idea what they're about, right? And then I ended up catching the first time that I ever saw Alex Jones in anything before I realized he was Alex Jones was a movie called Waking Life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he had a role as basically himself, in a pretty damn surrealist, but overall pretty good movie, I think. One of the many he's got to be the most diverse and prolific directors. Was it Linklater, right?
Yeah,
like he's got just so many types of movies that he's done that you would not, unless you see the name, you'd have no idea that he was the same guy. But anyway, that's probably my favorite one besides The Scanner Darkly. And he that was Alex Jones. But like, so from there I started hearing, I would encounter people in the music creation / weed smoking communities that I would be around in, meet some kind of stoner guitarist guy that I'm jamming with him or something, and then suddenly they'd bring up something like, one of the things that Alex Jones would propagate as far as his ideas and shit, conspiracy theories. And I would just be like, really, man? You think that? Like it would be something that the guy would seem fairly smart or whatever. And we'd get along on a lot of stuff and see eye to eye. And then suddenly it would be something, he'd drop something like that. And I'm like, what? It's just bizarre that people would believe that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with 9/11.
Yeah. That was a kind of the inciting incident for a lot of madness. Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people trace the beginning of the decline of the US to Trump being elected. I trace it to 9/11 and the way we acted after that.
Well, hold on. Well, let's go back, not even a full year to the election. Or no, I guess over a year, right?
With the 2000 election?
Yeah, the way that election played out. I think that might have been a necessary domino that fell as well.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's something that didn't seem as catastrophic at the time. But when the election, I mean, not 9/11, but when you look back, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear that, like, I'm willing to bet that anybody that was involved with the planning of 9/11, if there's still people around that were part of that, they're seeing themselves as being pretty successful at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were not just trying to kill people. They weren't just trying to, take out a symbol of them. Like I think to some degree, the planners knew that this was gonna break our fucking brains, like our collective.
Yeah, which was
ration.
their goal. Their goal was so like, if you go back, I know this is probably not even on the internet anymore, but if you looked up the manifesto that Al Qaeda put out at the time, their list of things that they hated America for,
Yeah.
the top 3 were kind of there could be no negotiation on them, because they listed a lot of points you would expect, like Israel and occupying, having military bases on Arab land and so forth. But
Yeah.
the top 3, the number one thing they had against us was we practiced democracy, which was a violation of God's will, because it allows people to be gay and stuff like that. And the second was that we are the tool of an international Jewish conspiracy. So their goal was to destroy American democracy, as flawed as it was, however illusory it was. That was the ultimate goal of 9/11, and it fucking worked.
Yeah, I mean,
Not maybe not the way they hoped, but it
as people
worked.
in the chat are pointing out that we could trace it back to Reagan. Absolutely, we've done that in our Fapcast episodes on Reagan. We traced it back to Reagan, and then we've also traced it back to, the party, the Southern Strategy. We've traced it further
Mhm.
back to that. Like, I mean, you can trace it back to,
No, see,
before
I would
the
disagree with that, though.
if you want to. Like, there's that's how
I would
history
disagree
works.
with that. I
Yeah.
would disagree with that a little bit, because Reagan, as shitty as he was part of the normal state of affairs in the United States. He wasn't like, we turned a corner after 9/11 by doing things like the Patriot Act and the creation of ICE and
But so much of what
DHS.
Reagan did set the stage for those things to be like,
Yes,
for conservatives to be where they were at, to choose to do the Patriot Act. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, there's definitely things that are much more directly like, yes, this string connects to that, like it's the Patriot Act and
Yeah.
all that, like, it's all, but I don't know. Depending on how, let's just say that the strings would maybe be different colors, in
Mhm.
terms of like how directly influential they were to events, but the
Yeah.
strings are.
I mean, everything arises from a historical context, right? To me, it's a little bit like arguing, when did World War II start? Because it depends whether you're Eurocentric
Well,
or
really,
not.
it started, with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, because
Yes, that is like an actual.
because you couldn't have had a World War II without a World War One. Right?
Yes, and many historians frame both world wars as one long conflict with a long ceasefire in the middle, because most of what happened in Europe in World War One was a consequence of the things that happened that things that happened in World War II were a consequence of things that were going on in World War One. And
let's just say it. It's the fucking Germans, Bob. These
Yeah.
motherfucking Germans.
But see, if you're approaching that question from the Chinese perspective, World War One began in 1936 when Japan invaded and occupied Manchuria. And there's other places you could find it. So it's like, we know it began around this time, but historians don't agree what the actual beginning of the war was. And so I look at it, the Reagan question, the same way. There was you can trace the long decline of the Great Society of the New Deal from the death of FDR all the way up to the present day. But
I
the
tend to
the
think
switch
of, where I was going with it, where I would absolutely trace it back beyond before Reagan, would be in the kind of under the surface, they kept alive just the ideas of what you call it, the John Birch Society, still kind of being carried on the DL throughout the 20th century, until those ideas could be properly disseminated amongst the conservative base in a new way, in new forms whenever the internet hit, and that the John Birch Society and the shit that they were about is all there. Like, the things they wanted are essentially happening now.
Yeah, and all of that was a reaction against the New Deal in large measure. The John Birch Society saw the New Deal as communism.
Yeah, absolutely.
And-
And it's correct. Like, who the John Birch Society was? It was a bunch of millionaire fucking tycoons and shit.
Yep,
That's who they were. It's this, it's no different anybody that was on board with that shit then, it's like it's the same kind of people that would be, they're currently like simping for billionaires as if they give a fuck about you, as if you have even a remotely a chance at being anything, close to what they are in terms of having money. And it's just sad. It's sad
Yeah.
that the capitalist brain rot of like, oh, they're, I'm temporarily embarrassed billionaire or some shit. It's like,
yeah. So that's why, like, I see like Reagan as part of the background radiation of America. America was always that.
Yeah.
And what we have now is all of that turned up to 11, but the switch that flipped it up to 11 rather than a slow turning of the dial just immediately shot it up was the reaction to 9/11.
We could have ended up more or less here on a longer time scale if not for 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John Birch Society is it's. I did a deep dive into them a few years ago, and I was honestly stunned at how low key influential that shit has been.
Yeah, like it made you sound like a conspiracy theorist to talk about it, right? But the historical record it's all there. You can go back and trace it. How the John Birch Society and other stuff like that was started by rich Republican dudes who hated FDR and made it their goal to dismantle the New Deal. And they recognized that couldn't.
Was that before the switch? I think it was, right?
What's that?
Was that before the party switch or after? Like
the party switch on race? It was after. It was largely after.
Somebody said you can trace it back to the founding of the Republican Party. No, you can't, because Lincoln was a Republican. You know what I mean? So like, you can definitely, as far as like, if you want to trace the party issues, you got to go back to whenever essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, Lincoln carried out the largest massacre of Native Americans in U.S. history. So,
yeah, and he, one of the last things that maybe, it took me a long time to get rid of some of my, not to say that I thought 20th century or beyond America was cool, but like I still had some patriotic feelings about the founding in the earlier years and stuff. And whenever I learned that Lincoln, basically, if he would have thought that keeping slavery would have kept the Union together, he would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty fucking disappointing to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, oh, he wasn't like actually.
Well, yes,
and no. Wrong, but he still would have, if his main priority was maintaining the Union or bringing it back together. So
if you look at his journals and stuff that he was writing before being president, long before he entered politics, he was an abolitionist.
Yeah.
He was sincere about that as far as all the evidence we have goes. But yes, he did say that if he thought he could save the Republic by keeping slavery, he would have. But if you look at that in the context of the larger speech, you could argue that he was saying that as a rhetorical flourish, and it wasn't actually something he would have done. He was just kind of like throwing that in the face of people, saying that's an impossibility. That's something that could never be done. That's wishful thinking. But he did kill a lot of vampires.
That's true. And he was very sympathetic to the plight of African Americans because he was a gay man.
Very possibly, yes. But that's also something.
Like a rumor that was started by a activist. I learned he just started claiming that he had found these journals or whatever that had letters between Lincoln and some other guy that proved he was gay, and it was like, turns out that was a hoax that he intentionally did to draw attention to, I think, AIDS back in the 80s or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Also, around that time that came out, before it was exposed that was a hoax, a lot of historians were pointing out that even if it were true, because the fake journal didn't say that they were like, it was all like innuendo, right? It wasn't saying that they were actually doing stuff. A lot of historians were pointing out, well, back then it was extremely common for people of the same gender on the frontier to share a bed because that's how you stayed warm.
Yeah, and it was extremely common for them to just like, blow each other too. So
yeah, and just
sorry.
But let's see that ties into the whole conflict there, because that's like joking about that kind of, as funny as it may be, kind of makes the point that people today are weirder about that situation than they were in the 1850s.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's the same way with when you read like Tolkien
It's
and
the
all
same
the
way when you
intimacy
read
between his.
early issues of Batman where he first adopts Robin and they are literally sleeping in the same bed together. And you know, Frederick Wortham was used that as cynically. Well, I don't know if he was cynical. I think Frederick Wortham actually believed the shit he was saying, honestly. But he used that as like, look, this grown man sleeping in bed with this young boy, even though they would be, you know, in their matchy pajamas, and they're like, you know, it literally just depicts them going to sleep and stuff, because the creators of Batman, right, they were not at all thinking like that. You know, it took someone to have a weird eye to look at it and go, oh, look at this. You know, so yeah, it's we definitely have, via homophobia, created this culture. Homophobes have created a culture where things like that, you know, no homo, right? It's a perfect example
Yeah.
of yeah, it's just I used to say that shit too. Can't believe it.
Yeah. And it's like the whole point is that that stuff is not dispositive of the two people, whether they're fictional characters or real people, being gay, but it also doesn't mean they are, because at those times in history, the standards of behavior didn't consider that weird, because a lot of it arose from like people bonding in warfare through shared trauma, or survival mechanisms necessary on the frontier before we had heating and shit like that. People would cuddle together to stay warm. And if they wrote about it in their journals, people today read that and go, ooh, gay, but it wasn't necessarily.
Did you know that the character of Batwoman was created specifically as a response to Wortham, you know, kind of getting people to look at Batman and Robin that way?
No.
Yep. That was like, oh, maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't Batwoman, because was it? I forget, because Batwoman I think is his cousin. So, but if they definitely introduced either Batwoman or Batgirl or a different version of Batwoman, I forget, that was like meant to be, like, look, see, he's not gay for Robin. He's a, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Fast forward to Chuck Dixon, you know, being so homophobic that he was, or not homophobic, he was so just against characters being sexual at all, that he made Tim Drake seem gay by how often he was like rejecting women's advances to go hang out with a dude.
He cried over Superboy, and he rejected a ton of DTF girls. So,
yep.
You know,
I do need to go ahead and get on wrapping it up here.
all right.
But that's right. Trying to think what else I might have had that I wanted to talk about real quick. Let me check my video history in case there's something there that I wanted to say. I don't know. What do you got going on? What's going on with the you got some karate content?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be out this Wednesday. It's turning out to be a bigger task than I anticipated, but I think I'll pull it off. It's going to be about martial arts westerns.
Oh, nice.
Of which there are many more than you might imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of a few, but they're pretty recent. I imagine you've got some examples of some older stuff.
Yeah.
Just a recommendation. I would say you go watch the what is it, what's the name of that show with the interviews on the New York subway or whatever it is, on the train.
I already did. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say other people should do that too. Julian Casablancas, the singer of The Strokes, was on there, and he said some pretty based shit about the situation in Israel. And the Humanist Report actually has that video about that, where he, explains that. Was the Humanist Report that did that? I think so. He's like, he said it's a turning point. He's just to have this kind of conversation like this with, just out in the wild, right, is notable. where like one of the thing that Julian Casablanca says that I was like, holy shit, that's a pretty valid observation. Says that American Zionists, they get all the benefits of white privilege and white supremacy in many ways. Not all of them, because in a long enough timeline, white supremacy will come for them. But right now they get those benefits, but they talk about themselves as if they are African Americans during slavery.
Yeah,
and it's I've seen that quite a bit.
I put up a comment earlier that I didn't mean to. I was trying to respond to it, but yes, Sean, the Warrior's Way is one of them. Shanghai Noon is one of them, but it goes back way farther than you might think. People have been making these kinds of movies for almost 50 years. More than 50 years, actually. So we're going to talk about that.
And yeah, well, that's all I got. I need to go finish watching this newest episode of The Boys. Haven't watched that all yet. Fell asleep.
Cool.
Right at the beginning of it the other night, because I was super tired.
I have to go pee, so
all right. Well, have fun. don't do that on stream.
I won't. Oh, it'll be a big stream.
Ha ha ha. So conclusion, Euphoria is creepy. Mark my words. There will be something about this guy. Hopefully, I think that Hollywood is auteur theory is dumb. Like we don't need to. First of all, it's not a real thing. Zack Snyder, whoever it is you want to talk about, think of as an auteur. There's been a lot of people around that person that contributed to creating the art they created when it comes to filmmaking, and it's just silly to single out somebody and act as if they have some singular vision that's never been done before, because in many cases, such as Euphoria, it's completely unwarranted with this guy that he,
I would object to including Zack Snyder in auteur theory because from all reports I've ever seen, he's an absolute darling to his cast.
Yes.
And auteurs usually are not.
Well, I mean, so like I think Christopher Nolan is also like, good to his crew and stuff. So like, and he's often considered one of the modern, and it just goes to show that like, Christopher Nolan, most of his movies he writes with Jonathan Nolan or whatever. And it's just, it's a silly thing to single out one often, almost if not every time, white man, who is like, oh, he's made this perfect vision of a thing. But nonetheless, I feel like Hollywood, HBO, especially being a network that I have a lot of respect for taking chances and stuff, and trying to create popular, mainstream, genuine art. I just think they should be beyond this shit already. So fuck you for it. Fuck Sam Levinson. And yeah, Morgan did vanish. I'm sure she's fine. She probably just had to do some family stuff like I've got to go do. Check out Armchair Black Belt. Check out I think what channel you're watching on. Check this out. And on that note, I'm gonna find a video to end on here, and I'm gonna do this one. It's a good one.
All right.
Peace out.
Bye.
Whenever I see a moving walkway in a movie or in real life, I think about systemic racism. And that's because 20 years ago, I read this book. And the book uses a visual metaphor of a moving walkway to explain how systems like white supremacy operate. And it stuck with me all that time because I think it's a really effective way for white folks like myself to understand how social systems operate and what we can do to intervene.
Get on there, it's a moving sidewalk.
In this analogy, racism is represented by a moving walkway. We are all riding on that walkway. Now, there are people who are actively running in the direction of racism. Those are the active racists. They're excited by it. Another group of people are just standing still, maybe oblivious, holding onto the handrail. Those people aren't doing anything actively racist, but they're not doing anything to stop it either. And of course, they're riding on a moving walkway, so they're moving in the direction of white supremacy like everyone else.
Why am I here?
Then there are people who don't like where things are going. They don't want to be racist, so they turn their back. Sort of a symbolic protest. The problem is, of course, they're still on the moving walkway, and the moving walkway is still moving in the direction of white supremacy, even though they have their back to the destination. What we need to do instead is turn around and walk in the other direction, right? And we need to move faster than the conveyor belt is moving forward. We need to be actively anti-racist.
Run! Why aren't you running?
I don't know.
What's wrong with you people?
A key part of this analogy is the understanding that racism is a social system. It is made up of laws and policies and practices and norms. It is not just the result of bad individuals doing bad individual racist things. And it doesn't matter that we didn't design the system of racism. We are participating in society, we are benefiting from it, we are on the moving walkway, and therefore we have a responsibility to work against it. The book is called Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? It's by Dr. Beverly Daniel Tatum, and you can find it in pretty much any bookstore. So once we're walking in the other direction and going against the flow of traffic, we're going to start bumping into people. Right? There's going to start being consequences for our actions. Other white people especially are going to start getting really upset. They're going to want us to turn back around and go with the flow like everybody else. Now, they might even start using coercion or violence to get us to do that. Another anti-racist activist named Dr. Kamara Jones took the metaphor a little bit farther. She explained that once we're walking in this direction, we need to start organizing other people to turn around and walk with us. Once we've organized those people, we can start to understand how this system operates, right? How the conveyor belt works, who built it, and its history. Once we know that, we can start to dismantle it. The idea is to destroy the system of white supremacy so it's no longer operating at all. Dr. Kamara Jones did a whole TED Talk on this called Allegories on Race and Racism that you can watch if you want to know more. Did I spend way too many hours trying to find every single clip from a movie where someone rides on a moving walkway? Yes, I did. I hope it was worth it.